name is Kuipaya. My ancestry is Secwepemc, Jewish and white. And on February 19th at 595 Burrard, the AIG and BMO Tower, we occupied space inside in nonviolent ceremony, calling for AIG to stop ensuring Trans Mountain Pipeline and stop ensuring genocide.
On Friday, February 19th, I was one of many Indigenous protesters protesting against AIG for ensuring the TMX pipeline when VPD violently arrested and violently removed Indigenous youth from peacefully protesting and holding ceremony with no warning. The third day after peacefully protesting, both Liberty Mutual and Chubb Insurance for doing the same. The slogan for all three locations being "Stop Ensuring Genocide." Each time VPD arrived, and after letting our voices be heard, we peacefully left without being arrested. This did not happen on the third day.
We brought our drums, our voices, our red dresses, and our medicines. We conducted ceremony while we occupied these spaces to bring awareness to what will happen with the TMX pipeline.
They met Indigenous ceremony with violence and immediately tackled my cousin to the ground. She is a Squamish person, tackled on Squamish land while participating in Squamish ceremony. 2 colonial pawns had the weight of their bodies on hers as they arrested her. When I tried to film, an officer blocked my view and would not let me film her. After they had taken her, I looked into the crowd and I saw officers aggressively pushing youth and an elder. After they had taken her, I looked into the crowd and I saw the police pushing youth and an elder. They pushed the elder down 3 times before I went in and I had to shield her body from the police and the violence that they were inflicting upon her. They desecrated red dresses, which symbolize the spirits of the missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit people.
I was outside supporting, and when the police moved in about 30, they immediately started throwing our youth to the ground. They immediately started throwing our elder onto the ground, and I rushed in to support. Upon going inside, I was thrown around violently by the VPD at least 7 times, resulting in an injury in my hand here that is requiring further medical examination.
Within 2 minutes of them being there, they grabbed one of our youth and they threw her to the ground and they stole her phone to hide the violence that was about to be perpetrated on all of us. None of them had cameras. None of the officers had cameras, even though every other day they had a camera with them documenting their presence.
Without warning and within minutes, the VPD violently removed us from the building. I remember looking down trying to find my drum that had been grabbed from my hands and thrown to the ground, noticing broken glass everywhere. I then witnessed our elder getting slammed to the floor on top of the glass. While trying to see if she was okay, I was dragged by my earrings that eventually got ripped out and strangled until I was thrown on top of a broken canopy so hard that the metal poles snapped. I left 595 Burrard covered in finger and handprint bruises. The VPD stole 4 of our youth and violently dragged them into paddy wagons. When they left the building after throwing all our belongings into the rain, I found my drum. It was splattered with the blood of one of our youth that had her head bleeding open. I left feeling terrified for my safety. I was physically, mentally, and spiritually traumatized. On February 19th, the VPD carried out the Crown's continued mission of genocide against Indigenous people.
I remember a line of cops being in front of us and we just drum and sang our hearts out and prayed in ceremony, and we tried to stay in ceremony. And some of our elders came to protect us, but as soon as they came in, the police violently threw them to the ground, and the police continued to violently throw us and push us against each other and use us as weapons against each other.
VPD immediately threw one of our warrior women to the ground, sat with their knee on her neck and took the phone that we were live streaming on in attempts to hide the human rights violations they were committing. They began throwing our youth, elders, and supporters to the ground that was covered in glass that they had broken. They repeatedly threw our elder into the shards of glass and weaponized our bodies by trying to throw us on top of her and on top of each other. When they were dragging one of my warrior sisters across the ground, they tried to grab me by my braids to throw me on top of her to further injure both of us. And when they threw me out the door, they hit me in the face to knock my glasses off so that I wouldn't be able to see.
And I landed hard 3 times last Friday from the violence that the colonial system, Trudeau's pipeline, called in the police to come in and mete out violence on these children. And I'm very sad. I'm very, very sad and very hurt, not just in my own body, but in my spirit and emotionally, and just completely. I cannot understand how we as a people can two-legged carry on allowing this to carry forward. So I challenge every one of the people that is seeing this, this televising of my statement to do something about this.
Throughout the process of my arrest, they continuously lied to me in order to coerce me into giving them more information that I am legally, under their colonial law, not required to give to them. And as an attempt, they then threatened to add additional charges and change the charges as well.
It's really exhausting and tiring. You know, I'm tired of the police violently harassing us and continuing to harass us after everything that we do. We're just trying to protect our land and protect our culture and our identity. And we're not allowing them to take that away from us. I want them to stop insuring the pipeline. I want them to publicly come out that they stop. And if they don't, we will continue to pressure them until they do. So, yeah, stop insuring genocide, because that's my family. You know, no more stolen sisters.
We've all sustained physical injuries, but on top of that, we've all sustained some mental and emotional trauma as well. But it's important to know that when these things happen, when the colonial oppressors come in and use violence to shut down and silence Indigenous people, it's opening up wounds that are hundreds of years old. We don't want an internal investigation, and we don't want an apology from the VPD. We want the police to be abolished. We don't want any more police. The police have never kept us safe, and we are seeing more and more every day that we are the people that will keep us safe.
We demand the complete abolishment of all police forces. We demand that the TMX pipeline construction comes to a halt. We demand that all insurers of AIG terminate their contracts with TMX pipeline.
Under natural law, Indigenous people are obliged to protect our land, our waters, our people, and ensure cultural continuity for the next 7 generations.
This violence is a result of the Crown attempting to protect their colonial agenda and the finances of the corporation that they call Canada. We will never back down in this inherited fight for our lands, for our waters, and for our lives.